This is the story about the mines in the town of Knightsville, Utah. This old town was not too far south of Provo, and as you will see in the video, it was a very different kind of mining town. It was back in 1896 that a man named Jesse Knight arrived in the Tintic mining district of Utah. He had heard of the great gold and silver strikes and figured he would try mining himself. Jesse was pretty much flat broke when he arrived in the district, and was what you would call a real greenhorn. As coming from an agriculture background, he had virtually no mining or prospecting experience at all. With nothing to lose, Jesse got himself a claim and started sinking a shaft on his own not far from where other miners were working. After consulting a mining engineer about his shaft location and his progress with digging, the engineer just sort of laughed and snickered and said, "Humbug," referring to the ground where Jesse was digging. Of course, who would have known at the time that this very shaft that Jesse was digging would become one of the richest mines in the area? Jesse ended up calling this mine the Humbug Mine. Jesse would eventually go on to owning many more mines in the Tintic district, including the Uncle Sam, the Iron Blossom, and the Blackjack Mine. Old-timers were known to have said that no man prayed more and met with more success than Jesse Knight. He prayed for silver and gold in them their hills, and there was silver and gold, and sure enough, he struck it. In order to run a mine, Jesse needed workers, so he set about building a town. At first there were around 20-odd homes built, and eventually over time there were around 65 homes, along with a few boarding houses for single workers. The town had a couple of stores and a school, a church, a couple of hotels, and by 1907 the town of Knightsville had close to 1,000 people. Because Jesse was a devout Mormon, there was one thing this mining town didn't have, and that was a saloon. Jesse frowned on the use of both liquor and tobacco. However, the town of Eureka was only a couple of miles away for those who liked to indulge in that lifestyle. Jesse was said to be a fair employer and earned respect from the miners. While all his mines closed down on Sundays, he gave raises to all the workers to make up for the Sunday they didn't work. All the workers were encouraged to attend church, and for that, outsiders used to call the mines Jesse owned the Sunday school mines. Knightsville was not only a mining town. Jesse eventually built a mill close by in Silver City to process the ore. He also built the East Tintic Railroad into Silver City and built new homes for his many employees. Silver City continued to survive until 1915, when the Knights ore sampling mill was closed down, when it could no longer compete with larger mills around Salt Lake. Knightsville's decline began in 1915, when the ore started to run out in Knights holdings. The mines started to close down and many of the homes were moved to nearby Eureka. By the mid-1920s, only 2 mines were in operation, and by 1940 the town was completely deserted. Today little remains of the old town of Knightsville. The only remaining sign of any town is supposed to be the old school foundation. However, you can visit the nearby town of Eureka. As it is said, there are still a few folks who call that town home. I will be doing a story on the town of Eureka soon, so you will want to subscribe and be notified when that story is completed. I hope you enjoyed this short story about the mines and town of Knightsville. Please like, share, and subscribe so we can continue to bring you more old lost mine stories.